This is Patrick Roth, Senior Support Technician for E1 Business Solutions. Today we're going to look at something in Extender that's been kind of a headache for the last number of years. That's been resolved in this latest 2018 18.8 release of GP. So as you know, Extender allows you to put in custom data attached to nearly any GP window that you like. And so one of them that we're going to look at today is the GL transaction entry window, so the regular general journal entry out of GP. So if we look at this one, we can see that if we wanted to, we can make one Extender record per journal entry. So we pick the window for transaction entry, and then it defaults the journal entry key for us. Or we can put one bit of Extender data per each GL line. And we can see that it switches. We're using journal entry and then the sequence number, which of course is unique on the GP scrolling window for each record. And then I have a dummy test string and a dummy date. Doesn't really matter what the data looks like, just that these are the key fields. And so if we pull up the journal entry window, journal entry is 3573. And I will type in reference and we'll put an account. Now this is my GP 2023 because I wanted to show the issue, and then we'll see what we can do about it in the 18.8 release. So we notice we added two lines, and since I put it on the line detail with the sequence number, or the sequence line actually, if I go to additional GL line data, we can see that the journal entry is 3573, and then the sequence line of this first row is 500. The GL window defaults to 500 increments. And so this is correct. And if I type in test and I type in 1, and if I save it, and if I tab off the row, or even if I don't, and click on it, and we can see that it pulls back up with the same keys, and it pulls up my Extender data just fine. And if I would click on the second one, we notice the sequence is again different, same journal entry, of course, and then we have no Extender data. I hadn't punched anything like that one. And for this example, we don't need to actually look at this. Now, if I save this journal entry and then pull it back up again, it's going to be fine. Again, the Extender data is actually saved in the line as soon as you leave that window and save it. So I could close it and save it. Don't need to. We could see that it pulled it up and it was feeling fine. Now, everything looks like it's going great until I post this. So it's 3573, grab that, and let's just do a post that and close the window, cancel reports, don't care. Okay. So if we go to the journal entry inquiry, let's use that same journal. And we see my journal, $6. This is it. And actually I should show you. Since we're no longer in the GL transaction entry window, I wouldn't be able to see this journal entry in that window anymore. So I need to make an inquiry. So I skipped past that little step. Let's flip to the step. And so I made an inquiry window, called it GL line data the same. You should always use an alternate key to tell Extender where to find the data. And I said, so the journal entry inquiry window, it's journal entry field, and then the transaction scroll, there's a sequence line. This matches up exactly with my key fields that we chose here. So it looks like we should be in good shape. If I then click my additional for my GL line data, we wonder what's going on because I don't have my data anymore. So did I lose my Extender data? Is it gone? No, Extender data didn't get deleted, didn't get removed. But what we notice is that this field is different. Before, it was 500, 0.000, and so it was a decimal of 500. This one is 0, so it's empty. And so the reason why that is because in this window, from the GP dev perspective, there is obviously a field called sequence line on the window, because otherwise we wouldn't be able to see it in our inquiry. right here. We wouldn't have the field if it didn't exist. But for some reason, it's not being populated. And if you dig into it with a DEX-SQL log, a little bit of script tracing in GP, what you'll find out is the field's there, but it's not getting populated via the SQL that this window is using. So we're a little bit puzzled why that would be, but that's what GPDev did, so we're kind of stuck with that. So, hey, there's a sequence number field. That sounds pretty good. Let's flip that to sequence number. Let's close this, and then we don't have to change anything here. Actually, we'll save it. What the heck? And I don't need to save that. And let's go back here. Now we don't have to actually do anything here because the data is not being read until you actually pull it up. So I don't have to actually reselect or anything. So if I go and choose my window again, and maybe I will have to reselect. It's odd. Oh. All right, so now we pulled it back up again, and we do see the 500 that we expected, but it's not quite right. So the reason why is because this is an integer and the other one was a decimal field, and we saw the 0.000. If we pop into SQL, we can see the problem. And if we look in the data, here's the sequence line field that we see in the 10,001 table in the work tables, and it's numeric. We don't see that here, but we see decimal, so we know it's numeric. And here in the GL 20,000 table, for some reason, GPDev has switched this to an integer field. When Extender uses the key fields of whatever key fields that you use, it casts everything to string, and then it mashes them together to make the key fields, and it pulls it up. In this case, because the data types are different, this one doesn't have decimals, this one does. And so if we would query the table, we can see that the records are different. And so this one here is the one with the decimals, which is what we need. And what we get is one without decimals, which is causing us our problem. And in previous to 18.8, this is a problem. This is a stopper because we can't change the data type and we can't change the data that's coming through, and we can't change our key fields other than, I mean, we could use a field that's not the sequence number. We could use the account number, and that maybe would sort of work, but that would mean that you couldn't use the same account number in your journal entry twice. And so that's not the best solution, but it would get you past this problem if we allow that's not going to happen, or we don't care that it does happen, because it's fine. But in this case, we are stuck, and you're not able to get around it with some kind of customization. Now in 2018 release with 18.8, we've solved this problem from the extender side. So if we go into my 18.8 install, we look and we again have the GL line with the sequence. It's on the transaction scroll. If we look at our inquiry, I built a couple of them. Let's look at this one. Our inquiry is again using the alternate key, and it's using the sequence line field. So it's set up how it was initially and what we'd expect. So if I go to transactions financial general, let's put in data. It's 3543, and let's load up, and we again see the same exact thing. It's 1, 1, and we see the 500 and that's not any different than it was before, because again it's based on the key fields, which in now my 2025 install, For 18.8, it's the same, and that's going to work the same. So let's post it, cancel our report, and if we go to inquiry financial relation inquiry again, we paste in our number, we can see it. Now this is again where we had a problem before, and now we don't. So the GP code isn't any different than it was in my 18.6 install than it is my 18 point install. The GP code's the same. It still has the same sequence line field. It is not populating the value in this version either, but we did add some code into Extender then to go find the data out of GP, populate it into the field that we expected to read. Since it's now the correct data type, the field's now populated. Extender can now pull in the correct data. So again, this has been kind of a long-standing thorn in everybody's side, and so I'm glad that we're able to get this code change on our side and make GP work with us better. This window. This is journal entry inquiry window. There's actually code into the other one. The other one was the transaction zoom, and there's another inquiry window someplace that I don't see used too much, and so that will work too. So it's 3 inquiry windows. That should have this code change so that we would let the windows work with Extender. If you find any more, let us know, and we probably could get that added as well.